Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. Today is another beautiful cloudy day in Vancouver and we're on our way to New Westminster. And this is the downtown area of the little suburban city, New Westminster. And I really enjoyed the old-time ambience of these suburban cities and towns. And each of these houses has its own unique character. And the inner neighborhoods of New Westminster is so similar to East Vancouver, where I also visit pretty often. And here we are getting closer to Queen's Park. And here we are, just parked our car, and by the entrance, one of the entrances of Queen's Park. Love these flowers and shrubs. And we're walking into the little rose garden, and they have a lovely setup here with the lounge chairs, gardening arrangements, and these are the beautiful, good-smelling roses, and the pavilion in the middle of the little rose garden. So here I'm sitting down on my little stool and get ready to sketch this view in front of me. So I'm going to start drawing the pavilion in the middle. The roof is kind of like a cone shape that has about 8 sides, and I can see about 4 sides from this point of view. The top part of the roof is more like a little pyramid shape with 4 triangles and a square base that I can see 2 triangles on this perspective. And the peak is kind of like a little birdhouse shape. Now starting to add the little shingles on the roof using loose parallel lines going horizontally and then accentuate this in-between area of the cone and the pyramid shape, adding some more shingle textures for the base part of the roof. And then drawing the eave area under the roof. Yeah, so the roof of the pavilion is kind of like an Asian straw hat, a little bit. And then starting to draw these columns, dividing the body part of the pavilion into 4 sides that I can see from this side. There are actually 4 other sides on the other side. And all of these sides are hollowed, supported by the columns. And then starting to draw this rose shrub. So using quick and loose and doodly circles to suggest the roses, the flower heads. And then adding some more details for the pavilion, the seat area. These quick vertical segments of the railings surrounding the seats. And keep drawing some more roses using just suggestive lines and shapes. Because the faster you draw, the more lively these organic things are going to look. So there's no need to hesitate and just keep your lines flowing. And then drawing this flower trellis here on the right side of the pavilion, coming back to the shrub of roses, adding some more, and then starting to draw these rocks lining on the bottom of the little bed for the roses. And then the paved walkway. And on the end of the walkway, I'm gonna just draw 2 passerbys, just giving a sense of proportion for this landscape, that the trees and the urban structures are much bigger than these humans. Starting to draw these background evergreen trees. These are very much like organic cone shapes. Yeah, so these are several trees overlapping each other, and their outlines are very organic razor lines. This one, these trees are more skinny right behind. Drawing another little shrub of roses. And then adding another little shrub of roses here on the left-hand side. This one seems like a little banana tree or something with beautiful big leaves. Accentuate the bottom of these evergreen trees in the very back. And now I'm suggesting the contour outline and the foliage details of this purple leaf Japanese maple tree and another flower trellis. Some more shrub details on the bottom right. And another flower bed really close to me. The rocks are much bigger. Oh, there's a little bug flying by. And these rocks surrounding the flower bed is, very nice, simple foreground element. And then suggesting the grass blades for the carpet of lawn on the left and right side. Last bit of foliage details and accentuations, and just drawing the bricks, making up this pathway. And all of these long lines, I think they're going into a vanishing point, suggesting a one-point perspective. Now it's time to have fun painting watercolors. And the sky is showing a little bit on the upper part of my sketch in between the evergreen trees. So just wetting the middle part of the sky with a little bit of diluted yellow, blending on slightly diluted cerulean blue for the soft blue sky. Yeah, so there's a very thin layer of clouds covering that part of the blue sky, so the blue is very mild in this case. Wetting these grass carpet area with yellow green, which is a mix of lemon yellow and lime green. Wet into wet, a little bit meridian green for the shadow from the flower beds, and also the shadow from a shrub landing on the carpet of grass. Same for the other side. Now it's time to paint the first layer for these trees behind or surrounding the pavilion. Having a lot of fun blending yellow green and then a medium green together. So the medium green is a mix of lime green and meridian. So for the beginning stage of painting foliage, I usually just start with this very mellow yellow green and also quite watery. Blending on a little bit of lime green for the slightly shaded areas, meridian green for even more intensely shaded areas. It's a really enjoyable experience sitting out here in nature, getting these shades of foliage in, listening to the songs of birds and smelling the fragrance of the roses. So as you can see, I'm playing with very limited colors. Lemon yellow, yellow ochre, lime green, and meridian green. Just these four colors. So I'm able to create just a small number of yellow greens, medium greens, and slightly darker greens. The sun is actually pretty bright, so it's a little hard to tell the color definitions. That's a challenge of sometimes filming on location, but I really want to give you a sense of on-site sensation. And now I'm using red and just these stippling marks to get the color definitions of the roses in. They're a little far away, so it's kind of hard to see their petal details. So this shrub over here, the roses are more like pink purple. So just mix royal purple and magenta together to get those little stipples done. And yeah, just looking around, there are actually some more roses here on the left side. Yeah, very similar colors. And these leaves in the foreground, they look pink purplish. And these pink and purple colors of the roses and leaves here, there is really balancing out this whole landscape with a bit of warm colors instead of just greens. And my next move is to paint this Japanese purple-leaved maple tree. Starting to wet this big area with clear water first, so the pink purple is going to spread out nice and smooth. This is a mix of royal purple and permanent red or magenta. Just spread it very generously around this entire area of the tree's canopy. It's in the middle ground. It's a pretty big tree. So just a fun little tip for you when you're doing a landscape sketch, you don't have to paint all the way to the paper's edge or the corner. You can just finish somewhere close to the corner is fine, and just leave that little space there for words and captions. And wet into wet, a bit of cobalt blue for the bottom part of the tree's canopy and some stronger royal purples around the middle part just to give this tree more volume. And using burnt sienna to paint these tree trunks and boughs here and there. Another nice warm color to have, as well as the roof of the pavilion. Yeah, so the foliage seams through the columns of the pavilion. It has a little denser green shade, especially the bottom of the shrubs here. Just adding some stronger less diluted meridian green, yeah, in little stipples. Now I'm moving on to the next stage of the painting process, is to push for higher contrast using shade colors of green. So it's basically meridian green mixed with burnt sienna and a little bit cobalt blue. Same for this maple tree here, using more concentrated cobalt blue mixed with royal purple. Sharper brush marks. This time I'm doing wet on dry. The previous layer of the maple tree is pretty much all dried, so my brush mark is crisper, giving a better definition for the leaves on this maple tree. Yeah, this tree looks certainly so magical. It's a little rare to see maple trees with purple leaves. And this species is from Japan. And continuing to add some little spots of shaded areas for the bottom little bit of the shrubs over here, using little dots of brush marks, and adding a slightly higher contrast for the roof of the pavilion. The very left side is a little bit more shaded compared to the other two sides. And same for the bricks of the walkway. Intensify the foreground area. And the large shadow of the tree landing on the carpet of lawn is, I want it to look a little stronger. So another layer of green shade. And a little bit of shadow on the bottom of the shrub over here. Now I want to further intensify the shaded area of the Japanese purple leaf maple tree, using a more concentrated cobalt blue mixed with a little bit of royal purple. So to higher up the contrast and make your painting look more strong or dramatic, you have to be more bold, adding these strong, crisp brush marks for higher contrast, especially like a large object. So the canopy of this maple tree is pretty big, so it's really calling attention for more details as well as higher contrast. And it's completely okay when we're painting foliage to have traces of brush marks. It really shows the leafy texture of the tree. You don't have to rub everything out super flat and smooth all the time, and just refine the branches a little bit more, and that's it. Here is the look of my finished sketch. And it took me 1 hour to draw and paint watercolors here on location, bathing in the sunshine and breathing the fresh air. So before leaving the park, I want to walk around a little bit more. Here is a cute little totem pole. And again, this is just a beautiful neighborhood. So before heading home, I want to grab a cup of coffee and a snack. So here I am checking out Café Mira, somewhere in the inner neighborhoods, about 5 minutes drive from Queen's Park. And this is my first time here. I've been to the other Café Mira in Mount Pleasant in Vancouver. Here I ordered a cherry and yogurt Danish and a cup of latte. Okay, so now I'm ready to draw the rectangular prism shape of the cherry and yogurt strudel, yet capturing the folds on the surface as well. It's kind of like a pillow shape, and then these slits. And these slits, they are following the surface roundness of the top of the pastry, and this slit is bigger than the others because it's in the front. And the pocket over here in the very front with the yogurt and the cherry filling showing. Now I'm drawing the fork on the side. Yeah, so this is a very nice set of fork and knife. And the contour outline of the plate, the shallow area of the plate, giving a sense of thickness, and the pattern, the press pattern on the brim. So just keep drawing freely and spontaneously without worrying about the proportions of these two items too much. I actually drew the cup a little bit smaller because I just want the strudel to stand out a bit more. It's more interesting. And then the lovely latte art of a heart in the middle, the bubbles. So the design and the color of this set of cup and saucer is very similar to some of other cafes that I've been to, but the difference is that the name of this place is printed on the cup. Okay, so now I'm ready to paint watercolors. So that was like kind of like a 3 to 4 minute drawing. Now I'm going to take another 3 minutes or so to paint watercolors. Just grabbing my towel, starting to wet these surface areas with clear water. The first layer for food and drinks is usually diluted yellow ochre. Yeah, so both the latte and the strudel, or most pastry items, share the same first layer. Now, for the second layer of the latte, I put orange brown wet into wet. The surface of the strudel has a higher percentage of orange and darker browns compared to the coffee, so just play with burnt sienna and orange in a more concentrated version. The cup and the saucer has this lovely shade of turquoise that I mix cerulean blue with a little bit lime green. So some of these areas of this turquoise surface, it looks more blue because it's more shaded. Okay, so now painting the last layer of the strudel, which is a more intense brown, mixing a little bit of cobalt blue into burnt sienna, wet into moist. So as you can see, the layers of colors on the strudel is blending in a beautifully subtle way, grabbing some pink purple for the cherry filling, especially here in the front of the pocket and these slits. Some stronger brown for the brim of the coffee, and another layer of blue turquoise here and there on the ceramic surfaces. Final little bits of polish before painting the plate for the strudel, just using a diluted version of leftover purplish gray for these shaded areas that I observe. And I love the gold colored fork and knife, so this is like pretty concentrated yellow ochre. And another layer for the strudel, because the brown is pretty intense in this case. And some stronger grays to paint the shadow of the pastry right on the bottom edge. Same for the shadow of the cup and also on the handle, the bottom of the cup. So here is my 8-minute drawing and watercolors of my pastry and coffee. The coffee is still warm, so no worries. And moving on, I want to sketch this interior space in front of me. I need to go in like 20 minutes because I need to get onto the Pachulo Bridge before the evening peak hour, and I'm giving myself a time limit to draw part of this interior and paint it in 20 minutes, starting with the hair and the profile view of this lady customer, her arm and her elbow bending, the shape of her upper body, and a little bit of her leg. And her shirt has this pattern of stripes, and you can see stripes can help to show the three-dimensionality of a person's body really well compared to a flat colored shirt. The edge of the counter, house plant here in the front, and I think this is a Monstra plant, a really common house plant. Okay, and it has these 4 or 5 leaves standing up. Now drawing the ponytail, the hair, and the side view of the lady barista. And this vertical line dividing the backstage and the front. And drawing these 2 stacks of paper cups. Now this floating structure attached to the ceiling holding these lamps is a rectangular prism shape that we can see 2 sides of it. This is the menu, another menu board. And I can see a coffee dispenser there, a lot of overlappings and foreshortenings from this angle. Now I'm starting to draw this shelf on the back wall and some more dangling lines of the houseplants. Yeah, so this Café Mira and also the one in Mount Pleasant, Vancouver, is I think it's probably operated by the same owner. The interior design is very, very similar, containing a lot of houseplants. And adding some books and also a few of their merchandise items to decorate this shelf. Another 3D shape over here attached to the ceiling. It is a distorted rectangle, which is a trapezoid. Okay, so here's the look of my finished line work. It took me about 7 to 8 minutes to draw. So having a time limit is good, so I know how to simplify things and just capture the essence of that place or the things. Starting with a super diluted mix of lemon yellow and yellow ochre to show the luminosity of the interior lighting. Yeah, projected onto the walls and all the surfaces. Skin color is mixed with orange and red, diluted with a lot of water. And this lady here, remember, she has brown hair, so just using leftover burnt sienna. Time to have fun painting these soothing greens of the houseplants, starting with a light green, mostly lime green, mixed with a bit of lemon yellow, wet into wet, some varied in green here and there. So overall, this bit of the interior space is pretty easy to paint. There are not that many colors. Okay, using leftover gray to shade her shirt, especially the bottom part not getting a lot of light. Using a blue purplish gray, same for the other white areas. It's not completely illuminated by the interior lighting. Yeah, some part is more or less shaded. And now it's time to intensify the shaded areas on the houseplants. So this is Viridian Green with a little bit burnt sienna. Yeah, so color and value transitions in watercolor painting, I think in all art mediums is always very important. And then painting the barista's shirt with red purple. And just using leftover brown to paint the shelf. There's some bright colored merchandise items popping out, like the red of that package there. Most of the books are kind of grayish. And this sketch, it has a really nice balance of the saturated greens and yellows with the muted grays of the white surfaces. Okay, so now I think I want to intensify the gray areas, like these shadows from the shelf landing on the wall. Okay, and the menu boards, they're actually black, so I want to mix my own lively black using cobalt blue and royal purple. Okay, so here is a look of my finished sketch. So I did accomplish my goal to finish my interior sketch in like 20 minutes. And it's time to go home. Traffic speed is much faster compared to last time. And good news, so I'm traveling to New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island in eastern Canada in the first 2 weeks of July. So I'll be getting a lot of inspirations for my YouTube videos as well as my upcoming online classes. So if you're interested in joining my July online sketching classes, you can head over to my home page over here and click on the community tab right over here. And then you should be able to see my most recent posting about my upcoming July classes. Click read more right here, and then here is a link to my coffee shop where you can find out more details about my upcoming classes and to register. So I look forward to seeing you in the July classes. Yeah, so you click on the link and it will take you to my coffee shop. So in July, I'll be offering 2 classes as usual. This one is for the beginners, and the teaching speed is a little slower compared to the Sunday sketch class. This one is a Sunday class more suitable for intermediates with more advanced subject matters on urban sketching and also cafe interiors. So you can check out these 2, see which one is more suitable to you. So I'm going to see you in my next video before I start traveling. So take care and bye everyone. See you next time.